Duke Abele tore down the original palace in Karnaca, his birthplace, in order to build a lavish structure that cost enough to feed everyone in Serkonos for years. It's said to be a sprawling estate to humble all others, a monument to his ego and sense of princely entitlement. But whatever the Duke has done to his nation happened while I was Empress. In Dunwall, we were content to look the other way as long as the silver kept flowing. I've got to get inside the Grand Palace, deal with the Duke, and find a way to steal Delilah's soul.
Can you feel it? This is my last night. Soon, I'll dissolve into the great nothing.
You should be at peace.
I've stayed too long. Find Delilah's spirit. Trap her with this cage of dead flesh. Set me free.
I don't understand.
You will, very soon.
Taken this long for someone to go after the Duke. Another aristocratic boss, living in a palace and sucking the marrow out of the same people who built it.
Yes, I regret my affiliation with the young Duke, but his father and I were close. It was my hope that Luca would eventually grow up and learn that his actions as ruler of Serkonos have very real consequences.
He could always count on the backing of Dunwall's finances and navy. Maybe without that, he would have developed a healthy respect for the people of Serkonos. Fear of the executioner's block has been a fine motivator for many a ruler.
Once the Duke falls, it's my hope that we can build something better here. Something more representative and inclusive.
I wonder what Aramis Stilton can accomplish now that things are different. Byrne wanted to be High Overseer. A gangster could never be trusted to run a city. Duke Abele spared no expense on his new palace. It's tacky if you ask me.
Are you ready for this?
I've been inside a dozen castles and 100 mansions, and they're the same everywhere. The Duke's palace can't be anything worse than Lady Brisby's social afternoons.
Getting inside might not be the hard part. The Duke doesn't exactly run a tight ship.
Taking down Duke Abele is only part of the puzzle. You've also got to find whatever it is he's keeping for Delilah.
You were cryptic about what you gleaned from visiting the Dust District, which is fine. The world is better with a hint of mystery. But once you're inside the Grand Palace, whatever you do could affect things in Karnaca for years to come. Remember that.
I've got a map of the Grand Palace for you, and I know something that may be useful. There's a hidden lever in the pantry that opens a passage to the Duke's vault. If he's keeping anything precious for Delilah, I suspect that's where it'll be. Beyond that, good hunting.
I'll see what I can do. I know things in Karnaca are fragile, and I've got a lot to think about after all this is done.
I hope I've been of some help to you. It's good to feel useful, here near the end of my time. Look at you. In a lifetime, how many monarchs have done half of what you have in a month? I hear the Duke's wine cellar is exquisite, if you happen to pass through. I remember telling you stories at the Hound Pit's pub so long ago. How you've changed.
It's not widely known, but the Duke has a body double. The man is the spitting image of Luca. A likable fellow, and quite humble. I've no idea where they found him, but the Duke's double has spent years passing for the Duke. I suppose Luca always hoped his double would be there to take an assassin's bullet. Take care. I hope to see you again.
Should we head toward the palace?
Now we're going after the one who started it all. The Duke himself. I forgot the thrill of it. Planning drop-off points, and picking the approach. Thinking about the best ways to kill somebody who lives behind high walls. But with the excitement, there's a black echo that comes back to me for what I did at Dunwall Tower. If anyone deserves killing, though, it's Duke Luca Abele. I've loved a number of women, and even a couple of men. I've never loved anyone like my Deirdre. After I left home, those first years on the streets, she's all that kept me from the bottom of the river. I could sleep on a pile of garbage under a leaky awning as long as she was there with me. Sharing a tin of potted meat or a bottle of brandy. And we nicked during the day. The Duke and his little brother came through Dunwall. And Deirdre and I got in their way as they stepped out of their fancy coach. The Duke goaded his brother, calling us wharf roaches. And it was the brother who swung the stick that killed her. Splitting her skull, there were wooden gazelles on top of the coach. And I snapped one off and drove it into his eye, as deep as it would go. Deirdre was already gone. Dead as a doornail. Lying in the muck, staring up at the gray Dunwall sky. On the run after that. I was hunted by the City Watch and even members of the Grand Guard up from Serkonos. People looked at me like I was cursed, spitting whenever I got close. Everyone knew I'd bring trouble. even the gangs. The Duke's brother has been dead for a long time. But now's my chance to get back at Duke Abele for setting him off against pretty, young Deirdre. Nothing was the same for me after they took her away.
Empress Jessamine herself once offered me a suite at Dunwall Tower, complete with a laboratory and the finest apparatus in the Isles. I declined, of course. I'm not some conjurer from penny novels. Besides, I have a great fondness for my privacy, and my interests often find me coming and going in the odd hours of night. It's hard not to consider what might have been different had I plotted a different course through my early years. Was there something I might have said or done when Delilah was my apprentice that could have prevented all this? Or is character a fixed star we must all follow in darkness?
Let's get underway.
At the palace, the Duke has a lookalike body double, meant to confuse assassins. A friend of mine washes the linens and said the double is a smoker, if that helps. Maybe you can talk to him. She says he's a nice guy. What a shitty job, pretending to be a tyrant like Duke Abele.
It's remarkable that people tolerate the Duke.
He's got an army, control of the mines, and he's had your support from the capital. At the Duke's parties, people carve up the country while eating boiled crab.
There were parties like that in Dunwall, full of toadies sucking up to me, stabbing each other in the back.
Poor Empress. I could see those party lights from the roof of the abandoned butcher shop where I slept, in the flooded district.
I know you grew up hard, Megan. I used to wander Dunwall with my face hidden. But when I got tired of it, I could always go back to the tower. Karnaka's given me perspective.
Good. After you've eliminated the Duke, find what he's holding for Delilah and take it. When you're finished, I'll pick you up in the skiff. After we leave Karnaka, there are some things we need to talk about. Things I feel remorse over. I know not everyone who lives in a great palace is a snake. But it's real easy to get accustomed to eating off silver plates. If you figure out which one is the Duke's double, you might want to see what he knows. You wouldn't believe it. But I could have ended the Duke a long, long time ago. Wish I had now. If something happens and you don't make it back, I might have a go at Duke Abele. When this is done, we leave Karnaka at once. I won't be sorry to leave this city. I've done all I can here. I've earned what I've got, even the scars. Especially the scars. Take care of yourself. We'll be there when you're ready.
Here you are, back among your own people. The palace-born, and those who curry their favor. Are you feeling more comfortable, Majesty? Are these the people you want running a quarter of your empire? No? It never seemed to bother you before. Maybe it looks different up close. Maybe here it's harder to ignore the way the people outside the palace get through the day. In any case, I know what you're after. The heart you carry can only hold one spirit at a time. So, if you want to walk out with a piece of Delilah, you'd better be ready to leave something behind.
I met her Now we're connected. All these years later.
I bet this opens the Duke's vault.
No offer to bow or kiss my hand?
I could say the same.
A mystery. Let's have it then. Who are you and what do you want?
Luca Abele, it's time to pay for your crimes. Bleeding your nation dry. All the corruption and the coup against your rightful empress.
I assure you, there is only one true empress in my heart, and her name is Delilah.
When I first met with my inner circle, I saw nervous faces. Even the boldest were afraid, wondering if we'd live to see another feast. Now Serkonis is ascendant, but this is a story that began long years before. I knew Delilah when I was only a boy, and even after she was lost, dead, and gone from the world, her memory burned in my mind. Until finally I began to hear her whispering, calling to me from the void. Telling her story of growing up in Dunwall Tower and the half-sister who cheated her of her throne. Then she told me there was a way to bring her home. Delilah. Beautiful. Immortal.
People of Karnaca, I am Empress Emily Drexel Leela Caldwin, speaking to you from the Grand Palace itself. Today is a day of reckoning for Luca Abele, the Duke of Serkonos. No doubt you are surprised to hear from me. And it is likely that no one is more surprised than the Duke himself. It is my promise that one way or another, after today, the leadership at the Grand Palace will be in alignment with my will as I move to re-establish control of my empire. Duke Abele, you've been warned. I am coming. People of Karnaca, you will hear from me again.
Like some prize bull each week, told to gain a pound or two to keep up with the good Duke.
The machine has completed another full instruction set.
No offer to bow or kiss my hand.
I could say the same.
A mystery. Let's have it then. Who are you and what do you want?
Listen, I think you're the Duke's body double. You can't have any love for the man. I'm here to end his rule, and I have an idea you should hear.
All right, you've figured it out. But if you're not here to assassinate the Duke, what do you want?
It occurs to me that you might make a more agreeable Duke than Luca Abele. If I wanted to depose him without having to slit his throat, do you think you could convince people that you're the Duke?
That's bold. I have to admit it's crossed my mind. If people believed that I was actually Duke Abele, and that he was the political decoy, we could have him committed for lunacy. We could convince everyone that the Double's finally lost his mind, and believes he's the Duke. I've spent years perfecting my performance. But there's a catch. He's got a medallion that I need. Even if I sound convincing, which should be the easy part, his Grand Guard officers will ask to see the medallion as proof. Luca never puts it aside.
All right. It shouldn't take me long. Once it's done, I'll be leaving the city. Soon after, I'll send instructions from Dunwall, and I'll expect a great deal of flexibility and cooperation on your part. There's still time to pull Serkonos back from the edge of the cliff. We can undo the damage Duke Abele has inflicted.
I'd like that. But I'll guide Serkonos in the ways I see fit for the people here, not as the hand-chosen puppet of your empire. If you agree with that, just render the Duke unconscious and bring him to his chambers. I'll handle the rest.
Is that my breath I'm smelling? Maybe my teeth are due for their monthly cleaning.
When this plays, check central rotor.
You need
Kieran,
something?
sir. We were confused by your most recent response. The Duke was, well, he was furious. He sent me to interview you about your progress.
One of the maids took me for a walk. We dug beetles in the park with shiny green shells.
I don't understand, Mr. Jindosh. Working with Anton Sokolov, were you successful at lowering the cost of Clockwork Soldier production? The Duke is expecting a reduction of 80 to 90%, based on your own estimates.
She let me keep a few of them in a jar. I pulled off their legs.
That's interesting. Let me remind you, as Grand Inventor, you've been given everything you requested. But with that comes a responsibility for deadlines, an expectation of progress.
Wait, I remember the undertaking you're talking about now. Yes.
Excellent. So what can I tell the Duke?
I had a visitor, I think. Or maybe they came for Sokolov. It's hard to recall the details. Anton wouldn't help, but I was close to finding a way to... The difference engine is inscribed in copper along the concave surface of the inner head mechanism. But wait. I can't. It slips away.
When this plays,
The beetles we found today, I'm going to give them all names.
This is useless. What am I going to tell Duke Luca?
All right.
That's it then. Now it's up to me. I'll take the medallion and call them.
I'll be watching. Break a leg.
Don't worry. I've spent years mimicking this asshole. Captain Almeida, come at once to my chambers. There's a problem. Quick, hide up there.
Are you all right?
Yes, Captain. Please arrest this clown. Seems that he took his role a little too seriously. Get your hands off me! He served me well for years. We'll never find anyone else who so bears my resemblance. Take him away, Captain, but be gentle.
I think I understand, Your Eminence. We'll handle it.
What? This is outrageous. I'll have you all skinned alive and set in a salt bath. If only there was something we could do for him. I suppose all those years pretending it was me, that eventually took its toll. No! Stop! I am the Duke of Serkonos! You can't do this!
Dr. Hypatia at Adamire will know what to do with the poor man.
I'm still trying to get my head around this. It's incredible. It'll be dicey for a while because I may be missing a few details. As quickly as I can, I'll turn over the palace guard. That will help cover me. Once you're off for Dunwall, I'll wait for your messages. I'll need all the help I can get turning this around.
This is the thing Ashworth made to hold Delilah's spirit.
This is it. You must release me from this dead vessel. Only then will you be able to trap Delilah's spirit.
You don't know how I can do this. You were all I ever wanted.
I stayed as long as I could, trying to guide you. The world is better for your influence.
Be at peace, Mother. I will honor you, always.
I love you. And this is the final thought I carry into the haze.
So it's done. Now to take Delilah's soul back to Dunwall.
Was this the heart of my half-sister? Only her flesh remains.
Maybe Delilah's spirit was holding it together.
The machine concludes here, and nothing further is amiss.
There. Now to wait.
So, is that it? The fall of Karnaca?
From now on, the Duke will be guided by better stars.
Back to the dreadful whale, then, and on toward Dunwall.
Yes, at long last. To take back the throne, and find a way to save my father.
Ready, then?
Let's set out.
All right. As you want.